Hello, and welcome to the Social Security Show. I'm Daniel Summer, Public Affairs Specialist in the Chicagoland and Indiana areas. But I'm not the only one here. As you can see, there's someone else on screen.
Yes, and we are so excited to be here. My name is Josephine Mueller. I am a public affairs specialist with the Social Security Administration, and I'm excited to get this show started, Mr. Summer.
So am I, Josephine, because we've got a great topic today. It's about something that touches the lives of millions and millions of people. You know, Social Security has two programs for individuals who find themselves disabled. But what happens once a person's disabled? It's possible for them to work. So we are concluding a series about working while disabled and how we can help. Because believe it or not, there are incentives that allow people to keep working while they receive disability benefits.
Wow, that's great news, Mr. Summer, and I'm glad that we're going to share that information with all of you here today.
So let's get started. We've got a slideshow that's going to tell you just a bit about that, and we're going to keep that going. So we'll put that up now. And guess what? We're here to help you. And that's why working while disabled is our topic today. Onward to the next slide. So let's understand the basics. Today's contents are going to contain a couple of things. Josephine?
Yes, they're going to contain information about disability programs and how we define the definition of disability for Social Security.
That is at its most basic. Onward. So let's talk about those disability programs I alluded to a little bit. There's one called Title II program, and Josephine, I believe you have a lot of expertise in that. Would you tell us a bit about that?
Absolutely. So let's talk about Social Security disability benefits, the Title II program. Now, these are benefits that we earn. So when we're working and paying into FICA taxes, we're essentially paying into those FICA taxes, not only for retirement benefits, but if the unexpected were to happen. So if the unexpected were to happen and we were to become disabled, we may be eligible for Social Security disability benefits based off of our earnings, based off of what we paid into Social Security FICA taxes.
But there's another program, SSI, and I'm familiar with that. It's a needs-based program because not everyone worked enough or more recently enough to receive those Title II disability benefits you just told us about. In fact, some people become disabled very young, or they have defects at birth, or they get impairments. Say you're 18, 19, starting your life and you have an accident. And there are also homemakers and people who didn't pay those FICA taxes you talked about. What do? Don't worry, the Social Security Administration does not leave you behind, because there is a needs-based program that if you have an injury, illness, or condition, and you're also financially enough in need, you can receive Title 16 or SSI benefits. But I'll give you one other gem. Did you know that there are people who receive both disability, that Title II program, and SSI? Just depends on the situation. Onward. So now we know, but Josephine, we need to define what disability is for Social Security, because it's different than just disability. If I saw a person and they were obviously had some type of impairment, I might assume they're disabled. But Social Security has a very specific definition of disability. Could you tell us about that?
Yeah, let's talk about that, Mr. Summer. And you know, I don't want to read the slide word for word, so I'm just going to share with you essentially what the definition for disability is here for Social Security purposes. So Social Security defines a disability, a condition that's going to last for more than 1 year or result in an individual's passing, and the condition prohibits the individual from working and earning substantial gainful activity amounts. So if those two things are met, the individual may be eligible for Social Security disability benefits.
And remember, a disability can be mental, physical, psychological, emotional, medical, or some combination. Essentially, any condition that lasts 12 months or longer or is expected to result in death that prevents you from working substantially could be disabling. I gave an example a while back, Josephine, to someone who asked me about, well, will my condition make me disabled. And I said, well, let's take the example of a headache. I've had a headache before. I don't like them very much. Do you?
No, absolutely not.
So, but on a scale of 1 to 10, maybe my headache was a 3, but that was enough for me to be unhappy that day. However, somewhere along the continuum, it gets more and more severe. If 1 is a mild headache and 10 is one that's severe, like a migraine or something that lasts for days, somewhere along that line, maybe at 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, it can become so debilitating that it is disabling. So whatever your condition, just remember, it's not the name of the condition alone, it's the severity. There are many people who have arthritis, and then there are those who can't get out of bed. Makes sense to me? And let's move on. So, we've defined disability, but here are the myths about disability. First and foremost, Josephine, I hear people, and I saw them in the office all the time, that thought, well, if you work at all while getting disability, they're going to grab your benefits away because they've caught you making minimum wage for 1 day and 1 hour. And that's just not the case, is it?
No, it is not the case. And, these are some myths here, that you cannot work at all while getting disability or your benefits will stop immediately. That's simply not true. And another myth is getting disability lowers your retirement benefit. That is also another myth. So we just want to make sure that we share this information with you all so that you know that these are some myths, and you can try to work. Once you start to receive Social Security disability benefits, there is what's called a 9-month trial work period, where you can try your hand at work to see if you're able to work and earn substantial earnings. And all those earnings that you do earn during that 9-month trial work period do not count, because you're trying your hand at work.
And that's not all, Josephine. There are many, many other incentives, because when you are working, you're paying into Social Security, which is supporting the system, and oddly enough, it can make your own benefit that you're receiving for disability right now increase. So don't believe those myths, because you don't have to suddenly stop working forever. In fact, we know you've got skills out there and things that are valuable, and just because you have a condition doesn't mean that we want those skills to go out the window. So if you're able to work at some level, Social Security encourages it.
Yes, absolutely. And I do want to touch on that myth that we saw there on the screen, Mr. Summer, that talked about getting disability lowers your retirement benefit. Let's talk a little bit about that, because that is something that, as mentioned, it is a myth. Getting Social Security disability benefits does not lower your retirement benefit. In fact, if you receive Social Security disability benefits, you are receiving the amount you would have received at your full retirement age. So if you do become disabled, for example, in your 50s, in your 40s, in your 30s, you are going to receive 100% of your benefit, the benefit you would have received at 66 in a few months, or age 67, full retirement age.
That's something that people are often confused about. And they confuse that because they think, like, well, if I retire at 62 and my full retirement age is 66, I get a less amount. For instance, if that individual would have gotten $1,000 at 66, taking that benefit at 62 as an option for their retirement, they would get $750 a month, a lower benefit, but over a longer period of time. However, we know you're making that decision. Nobody chooses or elects to become disabled. So that same person, even if they were disabled at 35 or 42 or 26, pick a number, we would pay them the $1,000, not the $750, not something lower, because we don't penalize individuals for becoming disabled. You can exercise your option as far as retirement. So that myth that says that by getting disability, you lower your benefit for retirement is just another untruth that we're out here to clear up for you and stop the spread of the misinformation. Josephine?
Yes, you're right about that. So we're here to share the correct information with you, but we also want to share with you where you can find this information, because you can visit our website at socialsecurity.gov, socialsecurity.gov, and you want to make sure that you put that .gov behind our name, because there are other sites that may be posing as us, and we want you to go to the correct website. So that is socialsecurity.gov. Once you visit us, you're going to see all this information that we're talking about here today on our website. We have publications that talk about Social Security disability benefits, publications that talk about Social Security disability work incentives. So if you're receiving Social Security disability benefits, the work incentives are in the publication on our website at socialsecurity.gov.
That's right. Just look for Working While Disabled, How We Can Help, the same as the title of this show. Onward to the next slide, please. So, now that we've covered a little bit about the myths, we've covered a tiny bit about the incentives, we're going to move on and give you a bit more information. So, these work incentives are what helps people become and retain employment despite their impairments. I mean, these support provisions were designed to remove those barriers to your ability to continue working despite your disability or disabling condition. They're designed to help people enter, re-enter, or stay in the workforce by protecting your eligibility for cash payments and or health care. So now you know, the truth is, we want you to work if you can, if you want to, while you're disabled.
Absolutely. And we want you to also know how to request these benefits, because many people are probably wondering, Mr. Summer, well, how do I apply for disability benefits? Maybe I am watching the show right now and I am someone who was on the fence and wasn't sure to apply or not. And I'm thinking about applying now that I've watched the show. Where do I go to submit an application or to start that? So what you want to do if you're an individual who is seeking to apply for Social Security disability benefits or any kind of benefits, you can always go online and start your application on our website at socialsecurity.gov. And this right here is our website. If you take a look at the screen, you're going to see a lovely blue and white screen. You would just go to the section at the top where it says benefits. You click on the benefits tab and you look for disability benefits if you are seeking to apply for disability benefits. Once you get to that section, it's going to show you a little blue icon where it says apply for disability. Now there's going to be an abundance of information about disability benefits here, things that we talked about here today, but you're going to be able to apply right online in the comfort of your own home if you click on the icon that says apply for disability benefits. So we wanted to share that with you here today, and we understand that sometimes maybe you may not be able to access online services, and that's okay. You can go an alternative route. If you would like, you can always give us a call at 1-800-772-1213. That is our National Social Security hotline. You can speak to a representative and request an appointment so that way you could apply for Social Security disability benefits right over the phone. The phone number again is 1-800-772-1213. Now, our phone lines are open from 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. Monday through Friday, with the exception of holidays. So if you are someone who is unable to go online, or say, you just don't have access to the online services, that's perfectly fine. You can give us a call at 1-800-772-1213.
We are always available for you. This is just another avenue to be able to manage your own benefits online. And remember, many people are hesitant about applying for disability. No one wants to be disabled. However, these are benefits that you have earned in most instances, and we want to make sure that in the event of disability, you and your family get the benefits to which you are entitled. So please, don't be hesitant. I've seen many people, Josephine, who don't apply for benefits and they let a long time pass, and then because of the time frame that they've waited, they may not be eligible for benefits. So the time to strike is while the iron is hot. And we want you to inquire about your benefits so you will know as much as possible about obtaining them. And if you need those benefits, well, that's why they're there.
Absolutely. And you know what, Mr. Summer, there may be some individuals out there that may say, I'm not someone who's seeking to apply for disability, but I want to prepare for my future and if the unexpected were to happen. So I want to know what that amount would be if that were to happen to me. And how would I find that out?
Josephine, that's a great question. We used to send those flyers in the mail every year around your birthday. It's a cheap present, but a valuable one. However, we don't send those to everyone anymore. But nowadays, every day is your birthday because you can go online and get it and find that information out. Because who knows, you're preparing just in case you become disabled. You can also take a look at the benefits you'd receive if you retire, what your spouse would be able to receive, or if something happened, what your surviving children, spouses, family members, etc. would receive. So it's very, very important to know these things, and you can know them at the press of a button. At your fingertips, you have the information at ssa.gov. And like Josephine said, go to .gov because it's a real government website. If you type in ssa.anything else, businesses, organizations, lawyers who are in the business of trying to draw clients and friends that they can give phone calls and send letters to will be looking for you. And if you put your information in there, you'll certainly be contacted by people you didn't intend to contact you. So please just be careful when you look. Now, you mentioned something also, Josephine, about benefits and work incentives. Tell me a little bit about that. How is it that I could work and receive benefits? What are these incentives?
Yeah, so you can definitely work and receive Social Security benefits. And so there is these examples of work incentives here that you're going to see on the screen. Cash benefits while you work, Medicaid or Medicare while you continue to work, help with education, training, and education to start a new line of work.
That's good information because people are often so scared that if they're getting benefits, they don't want to mess them up. But as you can see, we're supportive of that work activity, and we want you to be able to do whatever amount of work that it is you can do safely and comfortably without the risk of ending your benefits. That's great info. Onward. So, as we move, let's talk about this. There's a form for this. And the most interesting thing is, as long as you report your work to the Social Security Administration and we know about it, we can tell you, well, this will happen and you'll continue to receive benefits. There's no punishment or penalties, but you absolutely need to let us know when you start work, when you stop work, how much you are working. And as long as you report that information to us, we will be able to give you the proper guidance and assistance so that you can receive your benefits and continue to work. That's a great deal, Josephine.
Absolutely, it definitely is. And that is so important that we share with everyone here that individuals are able to continue to work. We have these work incentives, and it is so important to make sure that you share the work that you are doing with us. So that SSA 821 has that has those sections where we're asking, when did you start work? When did the work begin? How much are you earning? So it's so important to make sure that you are reporting that information to us.
That's true. Onward, please. So, we've taken a look at some of the work incentives, but we're talking about the amount of work one can do. Because one of the most frequent questions I get, Josephine, is how much can I work and get this information? Tell me a little bit about substantial gainful activity, because that's a long phrase and most people don't use that in everyday life.
You are right about that. It is a long phrase, substantial gainful activity. And here at Social Security, we cut it down and say SGA. We essentially use that term, SGA. And so what that means is that's the level of work active that you can, actively earn. So when we're initially looking at an application, we are looking to see if you are earning $1,470 a month of gross earnings or more. And that is how we initially determine whether or not you are able to earn substantial gainful activity. So $1,470 gross per month is the SGA amount. Now, remember earlier when we talked about the disability definition, we talked about Social Security defines a disabling condition that is a individual who is unable to work due to the disability, and the disability has to last for more than 1 year or the person's passing. So being unable to work due to the disability would mean that you would be able to earn that SGA per month or over. If you are unable to work due to disability, you're under. So I'm not sure if I was a little confusing there, Mr. Summer. Can you help me clarify that piece?
No problem. Just think of $1,470 as that line, because you're going to get, in most instances, 9 trial work period months when you can make any amount, even $1,000, because $1 million, you're testing your ability to work, and you still get your disability check for that Title II disability. But then after that, the line, with some exceptions, becomes $1,470. Josephine, if I earned $1,469.99, after a while, I would still get my check, and I could work and make that amount for a very long time. If I earn more than that, in those months, I might not get a benefit check. And that is the way that the work works. So, we are glad that you were able to listen and know a little bit more about working while disabled. There's lots more information, and remember, there's a pamphlet online at ssa.gov called Working While Disabled, How We Can Help. Don't want to go online? It's easy. We keep that pamphlet in our Social Security offices, so there's a real live piece of paper. If you're interested, please check us out.
Yes, and you know, Mr. Summer, this program has been so timely because did everybody know here that in July we celebrate Disability Pride Month and the anniversary of the Americans with Disability Act, ADA. On July 26, 1990, the ADA was signed into law. It provides civil right protections for people with disability and allows for access to state and local government services, public transportation, public accommodations, employment, and telecommunications relay services. So we join the nation in honoring and celebrating this landmark law that is inspiring, uplifting, and making the world a better place for us all. So I'm just so glad we were able to share this information with you today regarding our Social Security disability programs. Thank you so much for watching, and we look forward to seeing you on our next CAN TV show. Take care, everyone.